Welcome in everyone. Today I am going to be checking out the BattlerGC Pro. This is a modern Gamecube style controller made by a company called RetroFighters. They specialize in making modern controllers for older consoles. I've been a huge fan of the Gamecube controller ever since the original Gamecube released, and many of my favorite Nintendo games were from that era. Over 20 years later, and it's still my main controller of choice whenever I play Super Smash Bros. Let's open it up and see what's inside. So, take a look at the box here. You can see that we have some really nice artwork on the inside of the box. And here we have the BattlerGC Pro controller itself. I really like the attention to detail with the artwork here. Go ahead and take another look inside the box here. You can see the RetroFighters logo on the inside, and what a really cool retro style artwork on the inside of the box. I really love when companies have little details like that. Let's go ahead and put this box to the side here. I am a really big fan of the box art for the BattlerGC Pro. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back of the box here. This is the RetroFighters BattlerGC Pro Wireless Gamepad for use with the Gamecube, Switch, Wii, and PC. It says, introducing the BattlerGC Pro, the latest innovation in Gamecube controllers. It also has Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz wireless technology, Hall effect analog sticks, which is magnets, so you don't have to worry about stick drift, vibration feedback, back buttons, a more accurate D-pad with integrated switches, a rechargeable LED battery with a status indicator, 30-foot wireless range, over 10 hours of gameplay on a single charge, that also has a USB-C charging port. This is the RetroFighters Pro series of controllers. So, first impressions of the BattlerGC Pro. I really do like the feel of this controller. The buttons feel very solid. The D-pad is a huge improvement. It feels very tactile and responsive. I can definitely see this D-pad being a solid choice for fighting games or platformers. The analog stick feels like it has a good amount of resistance on it. The X, Y, A, and B buttons all have a very satisfying feel to them. The A and B buttons are a little bit smaller than the OEM Gamecube controller. They are very satisfying to press. The C-stick feels the way it should. It springs back very quickly, and both sticks have the octagonal gate for that authentic Gamecube style feel, and both sticks have a good amount of resistance to them. The face buttons all feel very solid. The start and minus and home buttons are very clicky. Both Z buttons are also very tactile and clicky, and they don't require too much effort to press. The triggers are like a hybrid of Gamecube digital and analog triggers. They have a satisfying click when you press them down all the way, so you get that feedback immediately, which is really nice for those games that do incorporate the analog triggers. Overall, I think RetroFighters has done an amazing job recreating the Gamecube controller here and modernizing that feel. I am a big fan of the Gamecube controller, so this is definitely a welcome addition. You do also get a USB-C to USB-A cable, which allows you to connect the controller directly to a multitude of different devices. So you can plug this into your Switch or PC or laptop to try it on different systems, which is really awesome. I do like all the versatile options that you get with this controller. So let me go ahead and plug this into my Switch and give it a little test run here. Alright, so now that I have this connected to my Switch via USB-C, the first game that I want to test out is, of course, Super Smash Brothers. So let's go ahead and load this game up and give it a test. Whenever I think of the Gamecube controller, Super Smash Bros. Is always the first game that comes to mind. It is a series that is synonymous with the controller, and probably the main reason why the Gamecube controller has stood the test of time all these years later. Let's go ahead and load into a game here. I'm gonna go ahead and do just a quick test. I think I'll go with Link. Let's go ahead and jump in here. Got Donkey Kong. The buttons feel great. I will say the smaller B button is probably going to take me a while to get used to. Everything feels really amazing. The layout will probably take some getting used to as well. Smashing does feel very satisfying. This controller does feel very well built. It is a very comfortable controller to hold. There are a few things I think could use some improvement, which I will get into later, but this is a very high quality product, and I think this is one of the best modern GameCube controllers that I've used. I did also manage to test Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with the BattlerGC Pro, and it was an absolute pleasure to use this controller for Mario Kart. There's something about the GameCube layout that just feels right, especially Mario Kart. Everything feels extremely responsive and quick. It truly does feel authentic to a GameCube style experience, and I had no trouble drifting or getting used to the BattlerGC Pro with Mario Kart. It was a lot of fun. And I wanted to test out the D-pad on this controller to really test out how good the tactile switches in the D-pad are. And I was pleasantly surprised at how satisfying everything feels. And the D-pad on the BattlerGC Pro is a massive improvement over the OEM GameCube controller. I had no trouble moving or aiming in Metroid Zero Mission. All of the inputs are extremely responsive, and the tactile switches do a great job of giving you the proper amount of feedback. It's essentially what you would expect a modern style GameCube D-pad to feel like, and everything just feels really solid on this controller. Overall, I am very impressed with this controller. I think it is a very solid choice for anyone that really loves the GameCube controller. But there are two main gripes that I have with this controller that I want to get into. The first is the ergonomics of the handles. So there's a very slight round bump on the top of the controller handle, which for me kind of digs into my palms. I wish it was a little bit slimmer to make it more ergonomic and closer to how a GameCube controller would feel. The second issue that I have are the back paddles. It would be nice if I could remove them. When I play an intense game like Super Smash Bros., I tend to have a tighter grip on my controller, which leads to me constantly pressing the back buttons. This is a personal preference, but I think I'd like this controller a lot more if they weren't in the way. I'd love to see this design improve further. If these two issues could be addressed in a new Pro controller, I think RetroFighters has a lot of potential with their GameCube controllers, and I would love to see more from them. Overall, I've really enjoyed using this controller. The buttons feel amazing, and the analog sticks do a great job of recreating that authentic GameCube feel. I would definitely recommend this controller to anyone that wants a modern GameCube style controller. I think RetroFighters has done a fantastic job with the BattlerGC Pro, and I can't wait to see what other controllers they come up with in the future. But I'd love to know, what are your guys' thoughts? Are you also a fan of the GameCube controller? What are some of your favorite controllers to use? I'd love to know. Alright, that's going to be all for the unboxing and first impressions of the BattlerGC Pro. Overall, I've really enjoyed using this controller, and I would definitely recommend this to anyone that wants a GameCube style controller. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.